celebrate. They have done it.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris and Mark back a bit sooner than anticipated. And how could we not be after the weekend that we've just had as a football club? We are here tonight live to bring you loads of football chat about Newcastle United and absolutely no travel advice whatsoever. I can guarantee you from this channel. How are you getting on, Mark?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I am absolutely knackered. So if I do fall asleep in the middle of this, I apologize. But I've just moved and I'm dead.
We've already Eagle-Eye George is Eagle-Eye Cherry George.
It's
He's already spotted
studio.
The new background. Yes, well, a new studio. Yeah, the channel has not paid for Mark's new location.
No.
Mark has done that thing that many of us have done in the past, and he has moved house. So he's in new digs, says Mark. And also keep your eye out for a very mischievous podcast in the background that is wild tonight and is unpredictable. So who knows what the fuck that cat is going to get up to, but we'll see. We will see as the episode progresses. But we are live tonight, as always, guys. Jump in the comments, and as we always say at the start, if you haven't already, smash subscribe. Help get us to the next milestone. We are over 10,000 subscribers. Yes, indeed, we are there. What an unbelievable milestone! And thank you so much to all you wonderful people for clicking that button. We have got the prize draw coming up, so stay with us. We're going to get stuck right into that in a minute, but. We're going to start at the weekend, Mark, because there's no other place to start, really. We were there. We were right in the thick of it. The Cup celebrations absolutely swept Newcastle by storm. We're still going to try to clip together the little edit video of just the footage that we had from the day. We were right in the thick of it in Newcastle, right outside the Civic Centre, which I think a lot of people were there, actually, as well. A lot of people I spoke to were there. A lot of the photographs seemed to be there. I was swamped in terms of the amount of people that are there. Mark's taller than me, so you can see him on the video when they go past at some point. You can just see Mark's arms stretched out, recording the footage. But what an unbelievable day it was, Mark. What an unbelievable feeling. Just how did you feel being right in the midst of just, was it 200,000 Geordies?
I've never, and many people haven't experienced anything like it. I've never seen a number of people like that at all. It was just right from the go. There was a buzz coming in on the metro. It was absolutely jammed, and we sort of got there. Well, I got there a good sort of 3 hours, I think, early. You other issues
earlier than me. People saw it in the video earlier. Yes, earlier than me.
And it was incredible walking up from Central Station, right the way up sort of up Northumberland Street. It's just a sea of black and white and people already in that sort of party mode and anticipation of what to come. But then when, I mean, you sort of said to me afterwards, we were there outside it was by the church, wasn't it? And it wasn't particularly full, and then all of a sudden just you couldn't see space. There was just people everywhere. It was just a brilliant atmosphere, just chatting to every sort of those around you and stuff. It was just phenomenal. And the atmosphere as the bus goes past was sensational. And I don't think we'll ever witness anything quite like it again. There will be other wins, there will be other bus parades, but that was the first. And I think that in itself is just something very special for the area, for the city, for the club, for the fans, everything.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny because we said this in the video that I did, the aftermath video about the parade. It's kind of hard to put into words. I think Jacob Murphy summed it up perfectly. We said it was more of a feeling, you know, in terms of just how it felt to be those players. Obviously, Jacob Murphy, regardless of the fact that he grew up, down Norfolk way, his mum was from Berkeley, as the song goes. He was raised a Newcastle fan. But I just think, some of the classy interactions from most of the football community, and I think in particular Manchester City fans who certainly saw a bit of what happened with them when they won that first trophy under Mancini, and they all said all of the things they've won after have never felt the same as that trophy under Mancini, because City were just, they were cast adrift, they were ridiculed, they were mocked, they were the other club in Manchester. When they won that first trophy, that was, the touch paper for them to kick on and become what they've become. Now, we'll get into this about Newcastle in a minute, but it was crazy, wasn't it? Because, everybody who went to Wembley had the moment at Wembley, had the moment in the ground, had the moment outside the ground. family, loved ones, friends, whatever it may be, and they had that moment. And this at the weekend wasn't just, the people at Wembley, of course, they were welcome to be, and I think a lot of them probably were there, but this was the moment for the region to show what that achievement means. I said this in the video as well. The North East is often forgotten about as a region, not just in football, but outside of football as well. We're so far up there, we're not quite in Scotland. We're still in England, but they think we're not at times. They think we're Scottish, and they just kind of ignore us completely. But that was an achievement for the region. That was an achievement for the city. And I think the people who came out in the numbers, we saw that there was so many different types of people there. There was young fans, old fans. There was people who maybe don't necessarily go to the games and aren't that bothered about the football, but there was an overwhelming sense of regional pride that they thought, I want to be part of this, and they were the people who made the train too busy for me to fucking get it, and I had to get an Uber up to the town. So thanks to all those wonderful people. But it was amazing. It was amazing to see that as a region, and I was proud to be from the North East when I saw that, Mark. I just thought it was amazing, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I think you sort of hit the nail on the head there. It's for the ones that couldn't go, and there was limited numbers that could. It's 10 times that number then turn out to celebrate, and this was, I think, always the question where the town mall was announced, but the bus parade wasn't, and there was little information about backlash. You cannot not do this, because this then gives everybody a chance to come out and see it and to celebrate. Not everybody will be able to go to the mall. There's a great post that I saw earlier on of a little old woman who was stood at this sort of at the side and had been stood there for a good couple of hours, and people rallied around, got her a blanket, got her a chair, somebody gave her gloves and things, and it was just, that's the kind of spirit. But she was there to witness it. She was there to see it. She probably saw the last one, given their age, probably. I'm gonna guess. So to have seen that as well. But it's just that kind of spirit, and that's what it had to be. And just, I mean, the scenes when you see the bus coming round St James's and off the Gallagher end and then round the back at sort of Haymarket, they're just incredible. We were sort of stood there wondering, is it coming? Is it coming? And you could kind of just see down the far end there was just a few more smoke bombs going off, and the movement of the flags was going a little bit more, and then all of a sudden there's just this noise just moved along the road. It just, but like I say, it had to be something like that. It had to be a celebration that everybody could partake in, and it absolutely was. And you're right, does the region proud, because by heck, they've raised the bar in terms of what to do for a celebration of a cup win, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I think, Agent Tech there saying was always the plan to do the bus. Council was dragging the feet. The friend told them. I mean, it's funny because the council tried to turn around and say it was the club, didn't it? Tech, to be fair. So maybe there was a little bit of back and forth with the club there. But you often say when we've talked about war flags, you've got to give war flags a shout. I sent the video. That Eddie Howe flag was absolutely spectacular. It was unbelievable. But you often talk about the environment, the atmosphere they create at St James's Park, the flags, the spectacle. The players have mentioned it on more than one occasion. Eddie's mentioned it. But you often say that's the best marketing to sell to a player to come to this football club. If you're a footballer and you're thinking about going somewhere in the summer, say, and again, I know we'll get into the Isak thing in a minute, and sorry, Brentford fans, I don't want to upset you, but someone like Brian and Mbeumo, who's linked to us quite a lot, right? On Boom, I always get the fucking name mixed up. But that player, he sees that on the telly on the Saturday. And if he's Newcastle United are interested in him, he's got to be thinking, wow, look at that. Look at that for the League Cup. Look at what they've turned out at for the League Cup. He knows the atmosphere. All the players know the atmosphere when they come. And I think what the supporters did there, what the region did there, was just, I just think, further enhanced the appeal of playing for this football club to players all around the world, because those images would have been all over the world. I haven't seen anything like that in football for a long time. Me and you've been watching football a long time. I don't think I've seen anything like that. And I know it's my club and I've got the blinkers on a little bit, but if that was any other club, if that was Leeds, if that was, Manchester City or United or Manchester United or whatever, I'd be saying, wow, that's spectacular. But that is incredible. And for a player you have to look at that and go, wow, I want to play for those fans, and I want to play for that city. You have to, don't you, surely?
Yeah, I mean, I go back to the Arsenal game, that first season, the 2-0 at St James's Park, and the atmosphere and the display and everything. I mean, that rattled Arsenal. They came out expecting to come out and walk, walk away with 3 points easily. And that was the point at which I said, this is what you have. This is your selling point. This is your marketing, because you get to a transfer and you just send them a tape, well, old school, but you send them a video.
You send them a VHS tape.
We'll break out the Betamax, yeah. But you send
FedEx.
Fucking hell. But you send them. I'm living in the past, man.
New house for the old bastard.
Exactly. You send them that, and you send them clips of the weekend, and just go, look at what this means, and it's a great selling point. What the marketing wise, not a particularly good. I don't think Adidas would have been particularly happy with that Eddie Howe flag. I've got to be honest with you, given that he was wearing
the story. Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, shit happens. That was the best picture that had of him.
I don't think they'll care too much, but that was phenomenal. War flags are just, I mean, they are the best. There isn't. I don't think there's another club in European football that's probably as good as. There's probably a couple of South American clubs, and that's about as close as I can. Of things that I've witnessed in sort of on telly and stuff like clips, but South American sort of fans turning out for things like that, but nothing in comparison to what we witnessed on Saturday.
Absolutely.
That was special.
It's absolutely sensational, and it's a good point. A few of the guys have said in the comments there were just pulled up, and it's something I didn't address in the video. Actually, I thought about after I'd done it, which is often the case. Sometimes, I've got my stuff rattling around in here. I sometimes forget what I'm going to say. That the stadium, when the stadium news was kind of talked about, it's not been officially announced by the club, but it's kind of been leaked out there by trusted journalists to test the water. 65,000 sounded low. You look at that on Saturday and you think to yourself, have you guys undercooked that? Do you need to have a bigger stadium than that? Because you look at the people who turned out to see two buses, driving through the city centre and then stood in a freezing cold field, for the Town War celebrations, listening to Bruno swear more than me, which I love him even more for, by the way. He made me sound like a priest, did Bruno. But if you got 300,000 people, if that's the accurate number, turning out for that, why stop at 65,000 mark? Surely you got to go bigger, 75, 80,000. They will fill that. They will fill that stadium if they have 80,000 seats.
There's always the tipping point, is there? And I sort of understand it from their point of view. They don't want empty seats. They don't want that. But there has to be the potential to get to that number. So whatever they do now, there has to be an availability or the ability to expand beyond that, to add another 10,000 on top of it if needs be, because there will come a point, and the way that this club is going, the 65,000 won't be enough. It might be enough.
You factor in the corporate tickets too, which would be a bit of a sickener, because you might only end up with about 5,000, 6,000 more seats for fans.
But it might be enough to start with. It might be enough to get the ball rolling, as it were. But as a little bit of time kicks on, you're starting to look at the likes of the way that Old Trafford is and the expansion that the other clubs are going. Is it going to be? And this is the argument I saw back was, you look at the other clubs like Arsenal, like Everton, they're kind of peaking at this 60, 65 sort of thousand. That's fine, but they're in multiple club cities. Newcastle isn't, and yes, it is a smaller city than London, and do you know what I mean? So there is that. But I do think 65 will ultimately too small.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right, man. Just look at some of the comments there. Keith Warren said he thinks 65,000 is too small even before the cup win. Ian says he thinks Bruno wants to do a rant video with you, Chris. I'd say, well, he's too happy though. He's too smiley, isn't he? He's always in a good battle.
I did wonder how many comments would be in the video complaining about the swearing. You need to tone it down. There's an audience.
Oh, no. Yeah. We had a comment earlier on. I was actually going to type a reply and I didn't bother because it's just somebody fishing, because I think they said, young children are watching you. But you see, the weird thing is about this YouTube thing, guys, is you have analytics of who's watching you, and no fucker under 18 watches us, so I didn't even bother commenting on that stupid comment as well. So, and I don't know how many more times you can say it's not for kids. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But
yeah, we don't. We don't play to that market, do we?
No.
We never have. It's always been a case of we are who we are. You swear a lot more. I do it, but not as much. You do, and that's it. So we are what we are. We're not going to change for anybody in that regard. That's. And if we've always said it, if you don't like it, that's fine. There are other places for you. We continue to just be us. But
exactly, mind you did swear on Saturday when you were waiting that long for a pint. By the way, I've never seen
it now as well
in my days.
I've never. I'm nearly 44. And I'll be 44 at the end of this year. And I've gone through peak Whitley Bay bank holidays, Newcastle bank holidays, match days, all sorts. I have never waited 45 minutes at a bar for a beer before, ever. No. And it was unbelievable. Fair play to the bar staff, Lord. They were off their feet.
We said that in the video. Massive respect to them for that. We did that job many moons ago, and it's not easy. But it was an unbelievable day. It really was. No matter what you did, no matter where you were, unbelievable events, and just really proud to be from the region. Yeah, there he is. The podcast is proud as well. But swiftly moving on, Mark, because you got to lock back in, because the Premier League is coming back. Can we kick on is obviously the next point we're going to cover. And, and for me, the podcast is cited, says George. He'd be gone. He's like Kaiser Soze, George. He's just like that. He's gone in the smoke. He's gone. That's very good, Mark. Very good. But for me, you got to lock back in the Premier League. And Eddie Howe's already said that. He said that even, when Ant and Deck were interviewing him on the Town Moor, he said it. And we've got to get back into this. We've got Brentford on Wednesday night. We've got 10 games left. And on paper, you're looking at these games and you think Newcastle could really go for this Champions League position. And we'll get into Isak in a minute. But for me, I've heard some people go two ways. They've said, I don't care where we finish. We won the League Cup. It's the best season ever. Some people have said, no, I want both. And other people are saying, you've got to have the Champions League to keep your best players. And I'm kind of in that camp a bit more, because as much as Isak's saying, all right, war kid, and he's, cheering away and all that, we'll get into Isak a little bit more in a minute. If you want to keep these top players and you want to keep moving as a club, you can't just go, I'm happy with me lot. I've won the League Cup and that's all I want to do. You have to show ambition. You have to show these players, this manager now who's won silverware, this manager who's getting touted for the England job. Every time Thomas Tuchel does a shit nobody likes the smell of, people will be linking Eddie Howe to the England job, and that's going to get worse and worse. The better Eddie Howe does as a manager, his name's going to constantly be thrown in there. So you have to show ambition as a football club, Mark. And for me, Champions League is a must for the club right now. I know European football is great, but we've got a real chance here to go for the Champions League, and before we look at the fixtures in a bit more detail, what's your take on that?
I'm just laughing back again, honestly.
He's back again. People have already spotted him. Andy says, hey, podcast. And George says, Katza. So is it? George, you're on fire, by the way. I don't know if you saw the North Tyneside Council posts. I did tag them and say, change the name to King Edward Howe's Bane. It actually did do it, mate. So that was all on you, George. So well done, mate. Well done. But going back to this, Mark, Champions League, is it vital for Newcastle to keep those players kick on next season, have that investment coming in, everything that goes with it?
I think, I guess the Champions League is vital anyway, isn't it? It has to be where the club have to be, because you have to bring in that revenue. You've got to, for God's sake, you've got to be able to maximise the money that's coming in. Honestly,
just roll with it, mate. Just roll with it.
This year, I guess there's a wave of positivity now that the players could come into and really, really push and really, really go for it, because they can come out now knowing that they play the best team in the country that's been this season. There's no one in front of them now until the end of the season to fear. That run of games, what is it? Brentford, Leicester, Man U,
Yeah, we're starting with that. So we've got Brentford on Wednesday, and then we'll go to Leicester. Then we've got mid-table Manchester United at home,
lower
and then we've got Crystal Palace. So we've got the next 4 games. We'll deal with them first. 3 of them are at home, and you always fancy Newcastle at home. And after that League Cup, after that confidence booster, seeing what they went through on Saturday, what the fans are all about right now. The roof will be taken off St James's Park even more so. The lads have got to respond, and they've got to deliver.
Yeah, and 6 of those last 10 games are at home.
Exactly.
This is huge, and I mean, I can only imagine what the atmosphere is. I've just seen Millsy's were going to be a noisy,
absolutely
a noisy crowd. When that
100%.
Atmosphere will be unreal. The celebration, the outpouring that will come from that. We've seen what happened at the weekend, but the noise inside that stadium will dwarf an awful lot. And that gets in players' heads. That can get in opposition heads. And 6 of those 10 games, those are another potential six wins from that you take on, and then pick up points away from. Champions League is really there for the taking this season because the way that Chelsea and City have been. Forest is still doing well, but there's still, can they keep that up right until the end? Villa are still up there. Brighton have faltered at times, but are still in with a shout in it too. Fulham, I think, have fallen away from that argument now, but there's still sort of 5 or 6 sides between third and 8th, 3rd, 9th that are really in with a shout doing it. Newcastle put those 6 games to bed and then pick up points away from home. I think Champions League is probably theirs. I really do. And they can take this positivity. They can take the momentum from that cup win, and the fact that it's been 2 weeks doesn't dampen the momentum because they pick the momentum back up again from the way that they feel from the weekend.
Absolutely, should be well rested as well and ready to go. But I think the big thing about those fixtures that are coming, there's teams in that race that we can take points off. We play Brighton, away. Yes, we play Chelsea. We play Aston Villa, which for me, Aston Villa is the one fixture that really makes me concerned because I think Villa are in good form, but they've got a lot of extra games with the FA Cup and the Champions League still there. They could really maybe feel a bit fatigued. But for me, the big games within that definitely stick out for me in terms of, obviously you want the home games, you want to win the home games, and you'll be okay. But if you can take points off Chelsea, and you can take points off Brighton, and you can take points off Aston Villa in that race, it just makes it even more, as you say, even more achievable to get that 5th place finish at least and get in the Champions League. And Newcastle have got this all to play for. Again, providing they don't have any injuries, touch wood, and there's no problems there. And the players go from strength to strength and get better and better. Isak's in a great run of form. Bruno, Joe Linton, and Sandro look absolutely fantastic. Obviously Gordon's to come back into the team being suspended. Yes, losing Lewis Hall's a blow, but Tino's looked great at left back. Trippier looks like he's back to his best. The lads have got 10 finals here to play, in my opinion. If they can give what they gave against Arsenal in the Cup, give what they give against Liverpool in the Cup, play with that level of intensity, that level of determination and grit, get the job done. The podcast agrees. If they can do all of that, there's no reason why the Champions League isn't on the table, and what that would mean for the club, and the squad and the players, keeping the players we've got, bringing in new players. You're fishing in a total different pond of player, Mark, when you got the Champions League. And Newcastle can then, we haven't spent in 3 windows. We've got money there to spend. There's key positions that we need to sign in, and Newcastle have got all to play for here. And I really hope that they go for the gold. I hope they don't just rest on their laurels here.
No, the other thing I was going to say as well about all of this, there's only 2 midweek games left of that run as well. So there's a week in between most of the games. There's obviously the game Wednesday, and then the game is it Monday?
Monday for Leicester.
Monday for the Leicester game. Then it's the Sunday, then it's Wednesday, and then it's Saturday, Sunday, Sunday. So that's another thing that plays into Newcastle's favour, is the fact that they've got that. And you said, as the others have got other commitments. you've got Villa in the FA Cup and the Champions League games. Chelsea have got their Europa Conference League games as well. I guess even Arsenal sort of fighting in that the title race is probably gone now, but they still will hope that's part of a fight. I mean, Liverpool haven't looked particularly great in other times. I mean, Newcastle really put them to bed. That's different, but they've looked shaky in other games. There's so much for Newcastle to take forward and be positive and push it and take fourth or fifth and make it their own without having to worry about anybody else. There's enough there, and I think you're right. The likes of Hall is a miss, but Tino's been excellent. I mean, he was fantastic in the final. He was fantastic in the games beforehand. That midfield three was on fire, and if they can stay fit and stay out of suspension issues as well. But even then, you've got the young lad Miley to come in behind. Barnes seems to be a bit more up to speed, and Gordon to come back. Murphy obviously playing as well as he has the other side as well. Still, although he does have his moments, he's still going to have them. We're still going to call that
put it in the net.
But for fuck's sake, but it's where with this kind of, I guess there's always been a fear about future results of future games. There's an awful lot of positivity going, and now that there's. As I said, I don't think Newcastle can look at that last 10 games and fear anybody that's there.
No. And they shouldn't do. They absolutely shouldn't do. Got to put this message up. Chippers has been a member for 5 months. Thank you, Chippers. Let's open teams up like Katie Price does her legs. He has to get the Katie Price jibe, and honestly, well, you are to Katie Price what I am to Talk Sport and Sky Sports, I think, Chippers, as well. So, but there's more chance of you getting on Katie Price than there is me getting on them fucking channels, mate, to be fair. So, and we've got a super chat in from Graham Ritchie. He says, the best time of my life. What a special time this is for us Toon fans. Great video, lads. Thank you very much, Graham. Appreciate that. Roadblock says we've got Gordon to get back into, hopefully before J7 gets suspended. Now, some people would think that's negative, but I think that's really smart thinking, to be fair, Roadblock. So well said, mate. Well said. So let's move on to the next section then, Mark, because it's time for the giveaway 10K subscriber prize. That's what all these guys are here for before they all disappear off to bed. So as you know, we hit the 10K mark, which is unbelievable for us. I think we've been doing this, what is it now, Mark? 3.5, 4 years? Is that how long?
We started the initial one. It was 21. So it was April 2021 that we started the slide rule pass.
When did we change to Evermore? Because that's what really matters.
That was the 15th of December 2021. That was when it popped over. So
yeah, around about 4 years then. And to get to 10,000 in such a quick time is unbelievable for us. And yeah, we're going to get stuck right. And George is ready. Drum roll, please, he says. So I'm going to hand you over to the host with the most. That's Mark. And the prize is we have an Alan Shearer signed shirt in a frame that was donated to us by John, one of our viewers, who's an absolute legend. If he's watching, thank you very much, John. Thank you. Massive appreciation for us. I met him, got the prize, had a coffee with him. He's a top bloke, and unbelievable prize for him to donate to the channel. And we're going to pick the winner right now. So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to pass you over to Mark with his Wheel of Fortune, and we're going to pick the winner for this one, Mark. So
I'm just trying to find the image, because you've just put a message in the thing, and I'm trying to scroll it.
I've caught you on the hop. There you go. There's the shirt. So that's the 2003 shirt signed by Alan Shearer, all framed, all ready to be hung up on the wall. It's even got a hook on the back as well, I think. So it's all ready to go. So we're going to pick the winner right now. So drum roll, as George says, Mark, dive into the Wheel of Fortune. So
I will bring up my multicolored Wheel of Fortune again. So that everybody is in the hat. I think it was 120 entries in the hat on the wheel. So let me just change my screen so I can see what I'm doing. You may need to blow your screens up, everybody, because I realise that is very small in the middle. So
steady, that's what she said, Mark.
Hey, there we go. Here we go. And the winner is.
The winner is
Gary Kilvington.
Gary Kilvington. I don't know if Gary's in the chat at all. If Gary's in the chat tonight, you have won the Alan Shearer signed shirt, Gary. Jump in the comments. Let us know that you've seen this message, that you know you're the winner, mate. And then drop us an email at Evermore, and then we will make sure we get that unbelievable prize out to you, pal. Well done. Congratulations. That is an unbelievable prize. And some of you may be a bit sad that you haven't won a prize, and you might be feeling a little bit low and a little bit down. But what we're going to do, we've got another prize, a little surprise for all you members out there, a little giveaway, and I'm going to pull this up right now. So I've been shopping for a little prize. I've got this unbelievable Legends Subbuteo style. It's already framed up, ready to go. You've got some absolute bells on here. Shearer's on here. Les is on here. The Gazza's on here. Keegan's on here, I think. Unbelievable. Gibbons on here. This is a brilliant prize for any member to sign up and put it on your wall. And we're going to draw now for the members. One of you lucky members is going to win this prize as well. We are going to try and do more member giveaways. This is the first of many. So, Mark, over to you again for another wheel roll. Typing away furiously there.
I am. I'm just trying to get everybody, all the members in there. So there we go. Right, this should
ready to
now
go.
work.
Ready to go.
Here
we go. Mark's back behind the wheel. Here we go.
Behind the wheel, it will crash. So good luck, everybody. Again, I don't know if you can hear that little chirp.
I can. It's like the Wheel of Fortune. So who's the lucky member? Who have we got?
Davy Pat.
Davy Pat. If Davy Pat is in the comments, let us know, Davy. You have won this unbelievable prize as well. The first member giveaway, first of many. So let us know in the comments, Davy, if you are here tonight. Let us know if you're watching this on a replay. Drop us a comment or drop us an email at Evermore, and we'll make sure the prize gets out to you, Davey.
What I will say, just to confirm, can you send an email and just drop a comment in the video just to let us know that you've emailed as well, just so we know that it's you and we can match it up with the name.
Chippers, you're not Davey or
exactly.
Gary Chippers. You're trying, mate. We do appreciate that. You're Katie Price's #1 fan, Chippers. I've got a Katie Price one. Apparently, I'm only joking. I haven't, Chippers. Really, he was getting ready there. As
long as Katie Price isn't down there.
Just a signed one on the tip. Chippers was here, right across the midriff. Chippers in big, massive writing as well. But yes, so congratulations to Gary and to Davey there, and we'll look forward to hearing from you guys. So let's get stuck back into the content, Mark. And I suppose we're gonna end this on a subject. I nearly did a rant video about this, and I kind of held back a little bit about it. Certainly, with all of the cup parades coming and everything else as well, but the Isak agenda is what we're going to end on tonight. And I'm going to draw a breath. And, any Ned Flanders in the comments who are worried about me upsetting the kids, think about the children. Tell them to go out the room because I'm about to go fucking light here about this Isak agenda. This whole thing, I've never seen anything like this in my whole supporting life, where these mainstream media fuckwits are just throwing post after post after post. Alexander Isak's going to Arsenal. Here he is in an Arsenal shirt. Alexander Isak's going to Liverpool. Here he is in a Liverpool shirt. Oh, we're going to swap two absolutely shit players for the best striker in world football. Hey, Newcastle, that'd be good for you. Let's wheel fucking Stan Collymore out from wherever the fuck he's been. Let's wheel John Barnes out from wherever the fuck he's been, saying, hey, do you know what? I think Newcastle will benefit from Darwin Núñez coming to Newcastle. If Darwin Núñez shot John Lennon, the fucker would still be alive today. That's how shit he is. He can't hit water if he fell off a boat. He's wank. He's terrible. He's had more hairstyles and goals. He's shit. Why would we want to swap the best striker arguably on the planet for this complete bag of crap? And I've never known anything like it. They're just driving it. They're having these little conversations, the over crap and all these other fuckwits talking about Isak leaving Newcastle United. Champions League is a must for me, Mark, to keep Alexander Isak. But what is going on? Are these people just so devoid of any kind of innovative ideas to talk about football content that they just have to throw up this bullshit nonsense of signing somebody's best player, even though they're going to offer you somebody's shit in return? I mean, what the fuck is going on with all this Isak agenda?
The whole concept of swapping Darwin Núñez for Alexander Isak,
unreal.
Is one of the funniest stories I've ever seen. It's just ridiculous. And I'm all for talking. We do it. We talk about rumors that are in the press, and they're not our rumors. We're just talking about ones that have been done. It's very rare we'll mock a player up in a Newcastle shirt. I did it for Mark Gay, and it never came off. So I learned my lesson. I'll never do it again. It took me long enough to get that set up, and it's I've learned. I'll only do it once signed. That's the thing. So, but it's the same story that's gone on for months and months and months. It's the same story that's gone on with Bruno.
But look what George is saying there about Isak as well. That's exactly what he's saying. Yeah,
exactly.
Just the start, bright days ahead. It doesn't sound like a guy who wants to leave, does it?
No, and look, even if he does, he's saying the right things. That's fine. And the sort of half cynic would go, well, that's what he has to do. He has to say those things. I've just realised I've got the dishwasher on, and this you can hear the sink in the background. So apologies. That's not the cat having a wash. He's now in the sink.
Could do. He's now in the sink. It's great.
I sit here so you can't see him.
This is like that newsreader where his kid come in the room. Where he's on live TV. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was quite funny. That.
Hey dear, honestly. Anyway, I lost my train of thought now.
I can take away your train of thought. You were basically talking about, these people just spinning this story about Isak coming to Liverpool.
So yes, let's say we talk about transfers. We'll talk about stuff that's out there. We're not making this shit up. We're not suddenly going, oh look, he wants to be in London. He wants to be, further south. I saw one today that said, well, it's clear that he loves Newcastle, but he wants to move on.
The Liverpool guy,
yeah, exactly.
I nearly reposted it, but I don't want to give them oxygen because they're just rage beta wankers, man. They want people to kick off. They want people to engage with them. They don't have a fucking clue what Alexander Isak wants. Gary Neville the other week was talking about how, players like him, they want to play for the Bayern Munichs, the Real Madrids, the Liverpools, the Manchester Uniteds. And I thought, whoa, Gary, it's not 1999, son. What are you talking about? Honestly, you couldn't sign Isak's shit fucking, cousin who kind of kick his own ass probably over in Sweden, Dave Isak, who's works in the Aldi in Sweden or something. You couldn't sign him, let alone Alexander Isak, But this is just, it's funny because I was talking to somebody about this today, right? Newcastle would have had this exact thing happening to them when Shearer was playing for us. But the difference was there was no social media. So unless you were in Manchester in a pub or you were in a taxi rank or you were fucking in a supermarket or whatever, you wouldn't have heard any of that noise unless you were physically there in London or Manchester or wherever else it was. But Alexander Isak can pick any club he probably wants to pick if he wants to leave Newcastle. I don't actually think another Premier League team, A, will be able to afford the package to get him, and B, I don't think he'll go. I think if he's going to go anywhere, he'll end up going to someone like Barcelona. And I know Barcelona is skint, but they always find money somewhere. That's the only team I can see Isak possibly leaving us for if we don't get Champions League. But if we do get Champions League, there's that photo. If we do get Champions League, then I think Isak will stay. I really do.
I hope that's not the prize just going there.
It is, but I rescued it with me. It was a great touch. I saved it at the end. It was just the last touch. I just softened the blow there, so it's all right now. So.
Sorry, Dave. That's yours, God.
Sorry, Dave. Isak. Sorry, Dave Isak. Get back to work in the middle.
This will continue to drive everybody mad. It will continue to, and it must. I don't think about it from a player's perspective. It must drive them insane to hear people put words in their own.
I don't think they even listen. I really don't.
I'm trying to think of another business where this sort of stuff will go on. Where people, obviously other sports teams, you get it in other sports scenarios, but to have somebody literally coming out and writing your thoughts when you've never spoken to that person, or never met them, never been anywhere near them, and they have no idea what you're really thinking or what you want to do. It must be baffling to you to have that. But it's just the continue. But for the worst part of this whole thing, and I get it from a fan's perspective where it's their wish. Liverpool would love Alexander Isak. Arsenal would love Alexander Isak.
Of course they would.
They can't have him, but that's their wish. So they'll write this. It's all about that sort of click and stuff. But what gets me, it's then the media, and especially the footballers and the media that do this, because they've been there, they've done this, they understand the amount of bullshit that this is.
Yeah.
And to sit there in the studio and talk about he has to do this and he wants to do this and he'll want to go and do this. Did you understand that? Did you like this sort of stuff when you were a player and you were being touted around everywhere? I get it from a pundit's perspective that isn't an ex-footballer, because it's then news, it's clickbait. But for a footballer to be driving this, for the likes of Neville and Merson especially, and somebody like that to really do this, that's the one that really boils me, because they've been there, they understand the game, they understand that part of the business.
It's ridiculous. If that was like a female actress, they'd probably have a restraining order against them. That's how fucking scary it is, the way they're thirsting over this bloke. It's unbelievable. But it's all to fill content holes. You know, for example, the overcrap is back soon. I saw that. I mean, that ridiculous thing that came up on social media before, and I reposted it with a sick face and the old Carl Pilkington face palm, which is one of my favourite gifs of all time. And it just sounds absolutely shit. They're trying to wind the Man City kid up that Pep Guardiola's leaving to go be the Brazil manager, even though he knows that's not true. And then the other guy's going, he's got you there, kid. And you're like, oh my God, this is the worst, like, Butland's fucking panto shit I've ever seen in my life. There's no real debate here. And I guarantee on the overcrap, there'll be no Newcastle fan there. Last time I had one on, they took the piss out of them. And there'll be no Newcastle fan there. Exactly. Filling content that'll steady on time. But I wish they'd fill the holes in their fucking mouths and shut up a lot of them. But, you know, they're going to do a massive segment, I guarantee, on which team is Alexander Isak best fit at. I guarantee you, and there'll not be any mention of him staying at Newcastle. It'll be Arsenal. It'll be Manchester City. It'll be Liverpool. It'll be Man United, you know, because Neville will bring that, or Scholes will bring that to the table, you know. And it's absolute fucking bollocks. I know the overlap is free on YouTube, so you can't say, oh, you know, you're charging money for subscriptions for that, but it's just utter fucking tripe. There's no real context behind it, you know. Listen, Alexander Isak is just won a trophy in Newcastle United. He will end this season with more trophies than he would have done had he played for Arsenal. They won't win a trophy this season, right? Fact. Manchester United. There's kids who have won egg and spoon races that got more fucking silverware this season than Manchester United are going to have. They're fucking dreadful. They're miles away from it. They can't even see a fucking trophy. He's not.
There's kids that lost the egg and spoon race that still have the spoon that have got more silverware than Manchester United.
Everyone's a winner. Everyone's a winner, Mark. But this is the thing. Manchester United have got no silver. Arsenal have no silver. Liverpool will have one trophy. Yes, it'll be the Premier League, right? You know, Man City might have one trophy, the FA Cup, unless fucking Villa beat them, right? Which is very plausible, the way Villa are playing this season. So Alexander, never mind fucking Chelsea and Spurs, they can't tie their own shoelaces together, them two, you know. So where would he go out of the so-called greedy six in the UK? Nobody. And Liverpool are about to lose three of the best players in the world because they can't get their own fucking contracts sorted. Never mind new contracts for other people's players. They can't even sign their own players up on contracts. Trent's about to go to Real Madrid. You're going to strip his mural down and paint a picture of Jamie Carragher spitting on that fucking window or something in his place. You know, like, Trent's about to go. Van Dijk's probably going to fuck off. And if Mo Salah goes, you're fucked. You're absolutely nailed to the wall if Mo Salah goes. Because for you to replace that guy's impact, it's going to cost you, and if it's Alexander Isak you're after, it's going to cost you 150 to 200 million pounds because the lad is contracted until 2028. And Newcastle are not going to let this kid go for buttons. So this bullshit you see flying around, you know, they're going to give him Darwin Núñez or they're going to give him Kwanzaa and Joe Gomez. I mean, what the fuck? Really? That's like getting the two ugly stepsisters while Cinderella's still in the fucking, you know, glass slipper dancing away. I mean, get on your bike, man. Like, who generally writes this shit and listens to it? I've just seen a comment there from George Gyökeres. Listen, I don't want Alexander Isak to go because he's absolutely world class. But if you were to sell him for 150 million and buy someone like Gyökeres in, that's good business. That's good business, right? Because if you can use that money to buy Gyökeres and then buy, Mbeumo from Brentford, you've got a really strong team still. But Alexander Isak, for me, Mark, is not going to go to another Premier League team. I think he'll go abroad if he goes anywhere. I don't think he's going to go anywhere if we get the Champions League, but I think he will go abroad.
The club, I guess from the club's point of view, it'd just be a case of no. Yes.
Flat no.
I think if a Madrid or a Barcelona would have come in and give the money
that's a game changer. That's a game changer.
I understand that, especially if there is no Champions League football. But they're not going to sell to Liverpool. They're not going to sell to us, because what are they going to do?
Why strengthen a competitor?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. They're not going to weaken themselves and immediately strengthen that side into being title contenders. It's not going to happen. I just cannot see a way that any one of them has the pull to do it, because that Newcastle will just play hardball with it and just go, no, we're not strengthening you, a side that will ultimately be a rival.
Is that your tap going? That really makes me need a piss. I'm really glad that didn't go off on the parade, because I was waiting an hour and a half for that course and I was dying for a piss. And if I heard that noise, I might have pissed my pants standing by the side.
It's the dishwasher. So the dishwasher's absolutely silent, and then every now and again, if the plug's out, you just hear it drain slightly.
Lovely. But I mean, as Chipper says there, Isak suits our play. You know, the grass isn't always green for you. I mean, Chippers is bang on. That team is geared up to get the best out of Alexander Isak. And, you know, I was saying this to somebody earlier on today, right? All the mainstream media, because they don't want to give Newcastle the credence, even though we've just won a cup, you know, first cup in 70 years, they don't want to give us the credence and the credit, you know, for what we've done. It's all of a sudden it's Isak's going to all these other clubs that are deemed better than Newcastle. You know, Sandro Tonali's leaving, Bruno's going to go, Eddie Howe's going to be the England manager. I saw TalkSport saying Howe could take Pep's job if he leaves Man City. This is the same guy and the same people, by the way, who had a phone in and laughed and ridiculed Newcastle fans when Eddie Howe was getting the job. Yeah. You know, because they were saying, oh, he got all that money and you can get as Eddie Howe. And now they've changed their tune. They all want him as the England manager or the City manager. But, you know, looking at all these teams in isolation, we've just gone through them, Mark. You know, City are on a bit of a wobble. Yes, they'll rebuild and they might come back stronger. They've got some, you know, that kid that O'Reilly came on looked brilliant when he came on at the weekend. Yeah. So they've got some real good youth getting blended in, as well as other players, and they'll sign new players. Arsenal are bottle jobs. Arsenal shit the bed. You know, every time it comes to doing the business, Arsenal just seem to drop it. You know, they haven't got the mentality to push it over the line. That's Arsenal for you, right? Liverpool obviously are a good side. They're about to lose 3 of the best players in the world. As I've just said, that's not an easy thing to get back from either. You know, Chelsea, although they've got all these players together, they still can't seem to make it click. You know, they've got issues there. Manchester United, again, as I just said, you know, they're not even in the ballpark. Spurs are all over the place. If Newcastle keep the players they've got and they add to that squad with 3 or 4 top quality additions, there's nothing to say that Newcastle, and Aston Villa, by the way, too, in the background, there's nothing to say that those 2 clubs can't get under the covers in the top 4 and fucking make themselves comfortable there, because a lot of these clubs are slipping away. And in the FFP PSR world we live in, they can't just miraculously pull 200 million out of their arse to go buy Alexander Isak, because that's not how it works anymore.
No, but funnily enough, just before we came out, I was reading the story about Chelsea's pre-tax.
I've seen that. What a crooked
on the back of having sold their women's team to them, basically to themselves.
Why aren't Newcastle doing this stuff? Why are we trying this stuff?
Well, and this on the back of last year when they sold those 2 hotels to Todd Bowley's. Is it Clearwater Group or whatever it is?
Did you see what he was doing with the tickets as well, by the way, for Chelsea and Liverpool? He was selling tickets on that site. I think Kieran Maguire, obviously we've had Kieran on the channel before, he's an absolute legend, put it on that Ted Bowley's ticketing site was selling tickets for Chelsea Liverpool for $3,500 a ticket. Disgusting.
Yeah, it's he's for want of a better word, a cancer to the game, isn't it? It's not to make light of that word, but that's the kind of level of person that is involved, and it's nothing is. I mean, not an awful lot is about the game and about the club. He's got no interest in the fan base or anything like that. He's purely about maximising whatever money he can get for his companies that he owns. It's it's very much like a certain person that we know used to have his mitts on Newcastle, where it was all about how he could maximise the amount of advertising revenue that he could pull in just for owning the club. Regardless of how well the club was doing, it's all about what he could do in terms of marketing that Sports Direct stuff.
Steven says, new kitchen, same cat.
Indeed.
He absolutely is.
If anybody wants a cat,
actually, we've got another member giveaway. The podcast. We're going to give the podcast away in a member giveaway. They'll hand it back, and nobody will come forward. They'll just say, "I don't want the fucking thing."
There'll be an empty wheel just going round and round and round.
Exactly, it's going to cause us even more trouble, But yeah, you're right. I mean, likes of Todd Ball. I mean, the problem is you've got to be careful with what you wish for. The Premier League is almost like it's like a prostitution racket. They'll open their legs for any fucker to come in, And this is the problem, they've got people like Ted Bawley coming in. Abramovich was in before. And the Saudis are in, whether the people like the Saudis being here or not, they've got reasons for not liking the Saudis being here. And those reasons have vindication. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not a geopolitical channel, but there's reasons people don't want the Saudis in the Premier League. And you say, yeah, that's valid, but the Premier League sold its soul many, many years ago, and there ain't no going back. The things that we've seen, the rules that they've put in place to prevent Newcastle doing what Chelsea did before, and what City did before, because of a small little collection of clubs that are now getting superseded and shifted out for other clubs coming through, like Newcastle, like Villa, like Brighton even as well, like Forest. Haven't even mentioned Forest. It could be their time. It could be Newcastle's time. It could be Forest's time. It could be Villa's time, Brighton's time to be a top 4 team regular, to play Champions League football. They've been through the hard times, and now they've come out the other end, and they're in a good place. They've got a good manager. They've got a good squad. They're investing in players. Manchester United have had their fucking day. They could be in the wilderness for years. And I will laugh my nuts off every single moment they're in there, to be fair. But it's the Premier League has had this little click at the top for like 20 odd years, Mark, hasn't it? And maybe we're witnessing a change in dynamic right now. No matter how much the Premier League try to stop it, it's inevitable. It's happening, and I'm all for it. Change the game of the top 4 or 5. Have different teams in there. Have teams like Newcastle and Villa in the Champions League like we've seen the last couple of seasons. Look at the scenes we've seen. Newcastle United beating Paris Saint-Germain 4-1, Villa beating Bayern Munich. These are unbelievable scenes, and these are fan bases and football clubs that deserve that moment. Manchester United have been spoiled for that moment. Look at that little ginger toe-sucking prick, Paul Scholes, about the way he was completely dead behind the eyes about Newcastle getting excited about this League Cup victory. They're spoiled. I mean, you called them Veruca Salt a while ago, and that's exactly what they are. Yeah. Spoiled brats of fan bases. And the likes of Manchester United fans are lashing out because it's not there. There's no more sweets left for them. They're sucking on toes, not sweets. That's what they're sucking on. And fucking, it's about time, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, the next one, I guess, is in that list of ones. Forest, if they make the Champions League, what a story that is as well.
What achievement, man! What achievement!
Two-time winners of the European Cup have been really on a roller coaster since then. With relegations and staying out of the Premier League for so long, and they have been. It's such a good story coming back, and they rode their luck. They took their points deduction. And they've been incredible, and look, they've sort of been this sort of season's Leicester, haven't they? Where they've given up possession, but they just utilize the ball so well, and that kind of direct spirit as well in Europe could serve them well, because it's not an awful lot of teams play like that, and they will rattle a few by doing it. But I love the fact that we're starting to see different teams get into that bracket, and it's not just the same old. But you are right. The brass, the Premier League, and the cartel, and the people around it, the media will hate an awful lot of it, because they feel that the money is not there from those sides, because they're not they're not the money-making sides at the moment. They will be. I mean, you look at the bankroll that Newcastle have and Villa will have it, and ultimately what Forest could probably bring to the table as well.
Yeah,
and they could take over. And you sort of said it before, Man U could spend an awful lot of time outside of that bracket, because there could now be 6 or 7 teams who are consistently in that top 4, top 5, top 6 shout.
And Brighton are there as well. What an
Exactly.
unbelievable team that they are, the way they do
Yeah.
things, the scouting and the players they bring in, and the way the manager plays football. And, the Premier League needs this for me. It needs that competition. Everyone's bored of the status quo. It's boring, but the mainstream media, because they're jam-packed full of ex-Man United and Liverpool pundits, or players turned pundits, that's all you can see. I did laugh at the TNT Sports thing. They're getting very concerned that Rio Ferdinand may not sign a contract as a pundit. And I loved, HTLCO saying, what do you mean scared? That he's not going to sign a new contract. And that was just absolutely class. Because he's one of the worst pundits and one of the biggest culprits in this kind of thing, going forward. Ty saying, when's the next Monday show? It will be the post-match after Leicester, mate.
I was going to say,
so we'll be on for
Monday.
that. Yeah, next Monday, Ty, because we'll be on for the Leicester post-match, mate. But yeah, I suppose just in closing on this, Mark, Alexander Isak, he's just experienced that unbelievable win, that atmosphere. He's got a team of players wanting to give him the ball. Sandro Tonali, he was on time at beach. I must have just missed the bloody bloke, to be fair, because I was down there myself. I must have just missed him. And he's talking about Champions League is important. And Sandro knows that he's not talking about himself. He's talking about Champions League to keep people like Alexander Isak. And those players will know, and Eddie Howe will know, and the Saudis will know that Alexander Isak is making so many waves around the world of football that people are now going, what is this guy all about? Look at him. Wow, what a player. We saw what he did at the national level as well the day. He's doing it on the international stage as well. Alexander Isak is the type of centre forward that, and some fans will probably take the piss. People like the overcrap would take the piss out of me saying this, but Alexander Isak is exactly the type of centre forward that could win us the league. If you remember when Robert Van Persie went to Man United and won them the league, Alexander Isak has the aura, the presence, the quality to win Newcastle United a Premier League. You surround him with a good supporting cast, that boy can win as a Premier League, mate. So why would he go somewhere else in England where he could achieve that at this club? And look what happened at the weekend. Imagine that with a league win. Mark.
Well, yeah, exactly. It goes back to what I said before. Is there's no way. I think there's no way Newcastle will strengthen a side that will automatically put them into championship contention, because that's what Newcastle want. And if Newcastle add those players to that squad and can fill out the backups to those as well. I mean, if you think about it, with what's there now, if you throw in an Mbumo, if you throw in another centre back, right centre back, and a goalkeeper, all of a sudden that top 4 challenge is there. Why not, with the emergence of how good Tonali has been this season? We know he was good when he signed, and then he had the year off. But he's been so good. Bruno looks like he's getting back to where he was. That those performances are coming back. The Joe Linton of old has been back since he's been fit. Getting those performances back from those players and then adding quality along to, yes, other fans from other sides will take the piss, but you add those key elements. Why the hell not? Why can't Newcastle challenge for the title? It's possible with a couple of world class players in that squad. Why not? If you had a bit of stability in terms of injuries and backup players and things like that, why the hell not?
Absolutely. Yeah, Marcus, we are doing a post-match after Brentford on Wednesday, mate. So, yes, jump back in for that, buddy. And back to work. You have a good one, mate. You have a good one. But, yeah, I think for me is, just to close on this one, Mark, I think you're absolutely right. This transfer window, we've said it, is so important for the club. But if you finish the season with Champions League as well as that League Cup, it opens up a whole more raft of players that you can go for, a whole more raft of players that will go, hang on a minute, I'm really interested in this club and I really want to be part of what I'm seeing here. Look at the players they've got. They've kept Isak. They've got Tonali back, Bruno. brilliant. The wing backs are England wing backs now. Sven Botman's fit, new goalkeeper. And you look around and go, wow. Anthony Gordon one side. Again, if you put in Wemo on the right hand side, people will be looking at that club thinking, do you know what? That could mount a challenge for the title. There's no reason why it couldn't. Obviously, the mainstream media would still try and derail us and poo-poo any chance of that. Even if we were sitting top by fucking, March, they would still try and say we weren't going to win the title. But that's just the way they are. They were the same when Leicester did it. They were desperate for Leicester not to win that title, and Leicester did it. And obviously Leicester have gone from right up there to right down there, sadly, over the years. But I think with a smart bit of management of the players, there's no reason why we can't get to that next level with this squad of players and the additions that we'll have as well. But time will tell, mate. These 10 games are going to be massive for the club. We'll be all over them, guys, with previews and live post matches. But I think that's us all wrapped up for tonight, mate. So yeah, thank everyone who's jumping the lives. Always appreciate it. You winners, get in touch with us. Again, as Mark said, what do you want us to do? Drop a comment in the video, Mark?
Drop an email into the channel. Obviously, the email address is in the description of all the videos. If you drop an email in there, but drop a comment on this video just to let us know that you've sent that message as well, because then we know that it's you that's actually sent it.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. You're so cynical, Mark. As if
not that I don't trust any of you that said I know
Chippers
as Gary. And, yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much, guys. Chippers is saying good night as well. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Absolutely love the engagement as always. Have a belt there. We'll be back again. The preview will be out tomorrow for the Brentford game, and we'll be back with that post-match after Brentford on Wednesday. Again, click like and subscribe, share the channel, help us grow. We're going for the next milestone, the 11,000 next. Hopefully, we'll be here sooner than we think. So have a belt, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.
See you guys. Take care.